Welcome, friends, to the Alpenglow Winter Speaker Series. Please give it up for your host, Brendan Madigan.
Hey, everybody. How you guys feeling tonight? Oh, that's not good enough. We got 5 feet of damn snow coming. How y'all feeling about that? Yeah, the hiatus is over. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. My name is Brendan Madigan. I'd like to welcome you to the 4th show of our 20th annual Alpenglow Sports Winter Speaker Series presented by our friends at the North Tahoe Chamber. We're going to keep the energy high, even though this really civilized crowd got quiet quick. We got 4 throw-out people on each corner of the audience, and they are armed with a ton of beanies and buffs and all kinds of goodies. But remember, it's scientifically proven that the louder you are, the more chances you have of winning. So let's hear it. All right, did everyone get a hat? All right, thank you, throwers. If you're not done throwing, hurry up. Let's go, Meg. Okay, sweet. So let me see a quick show of hands. Who has ever suffered a personal setback in their lives? Technically, everyone's hand should be raised. That could be emotional, psychological, existential, physical. Is everyone psyched on their hats? Yeah. So, life is a beautiful thing, but it can bite. It can be cruel sometimes. And tonight, you're going to hear a story of extraordinary resilience from one of the greatest free skiing icons of our generation. Ladies and gentlemen, John Collinson is in this building. John's going to tell us how important it is to always show up. But before we get into the show, we've got some amazing partners to thank. 3 in particular help us keep this event free to the public. The first is our presenting partner, the North Tahoe Chamber. These are your TBID dollars at work, and I can't explain it to you in the amount of time we have tonight. But if you have any questions, go see Darcy at their booth and give them a big round of applause for supporting. The second would be our friends at the Tahoe Fund. The Tahoe Fund has pledged a $40,000 dollar-for-dollar match. And that means every dollar you spend on beer or giveaway tickets, it's technically worth 2. So let's give it up for the Tahoe Fund, please. And of course, we couldn't do it without this room. So let's clap it up for our generous host, Palisades Tahoe. For those of you who are new to the Winter Speaker Series, welcome. This event has a 2-part goal. The first is to raise funds and awareness for local nonprofits making a tangible difference right here in our community, like the Headwater Science Institute. And the second is to inspire athletes like all of you to go chase your dreams in the mountains, hopefully after you've seen an epic show from someone like Jim Morrison or Jeremy Jones or Emily Harrington, and it's a beautiful thing. And I got to tell you, over the last 20 years, our community, doing Us for Us, has raised over $3 million. And it's not an exaggeration when I tell you that your generosity is a difference maker. So whether you bought 1 raffle ticket or 100, 1 beer or a few beers from Alibi, or you're a member of our Anonymous Donor Party, which is a group that this year alone has raised over $500,000. Thank you. And I have to tell you that this year alone, we've smashed all our records, we've had great shows, and we've raised over $800,000 in 1 year. And we still have one more show to go. So let's give it up for our community, y'all. So it's a great honor to keep this event going. It's a beautiful thing. Our team loves it. And every person in this room decided to show up tonight. And I think we need to celebrate that, especially with what's going on in the world. But without further ado, let's welcome our friends from the Headwater Science Institute, Meg Seifert and Mary Ellen Benier.
Hi, I'm Meg Seifert.
And I'm Mary Ellen Benier. Together, we are 2/3 of the founding members of Headwater Science Institute.
Rather than teaching students about science, we empower them to do it instead.
We know that a scientist gains knowledge through observation of physical facts.
Our big science education breakthrough 11 years ago was that the scientific process is a perfect fit for kids' natural curiosity.
They're full of questions about the world around them. And if we help them craft a testable research question and then empower them to collect data in the real world, they will want to learn quantitative tools that scientists use to answer important questions.
They weren't learning anything about the environment at school. So we talked about all these things and eventually decided, well, they would like to do something about some of these things themselves.
Making that process accessible to kids as young as 5 has been our contribution to science education. And every day we're working all across our region to expose kids to how real science works. That's super important.
The benefits we've seen are immense. After participating in a Headwaters program, some kids see a future career in science as possible for the very first time. Every student that participated reported leaving our programs with an understanding of the logic and credibility of answers backed by scientific research.
You discover the marvelous interrelationships between all living things.
Whether it informs choices in their personal lives, their careers, or their civic engagement, the lessons of a Headwaters program lasts a lifetime. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your support of the Winter Speaker Series and the Donor Party, and as a result, Headwaters.
Thanks to this funding, we were able to serve over 100 more kids in our summer camps. It was our biggest summer ever.
We also launched a camp voucher program with TTUSD that I'm super proud of. It enabled teachers to provide vouchers to students on free or reduced lunches so they could participate in our day or overnight camps for only $50. As a result, more than 20 kids who otherwise might not have had the choice to be able to access our summer camps were able to come.
We also use this funding to support our overnight program at the new Tahoe Outdoor School at Rideout. We worked with Kings Beach Elementary 5th graders to study snow and matter. This was their first overnight program at that school ever, and it was amazing and fully funded by this grant.
We were also able to grow our programs within the district. We added a week-long program with the AP Environmental Science at Truckee High. We just completed the first full grade-level program across the district at Tahoe School, working with all the 6th graders at ACMS in North Tahoe.
I might be most excited, though, about our new ACES elective program at ACMS. As part of this program, every 6th grader gets to do a 6-week rotation with Headwaters, where they do their own research project with our scientists.
The Winter Speaker Series funding helps us reach more students who need it most. It gives us the flexibility and stability to host new programs, to try new, promising ways to reach more kids, and gives us the ability to strategize and fund these programs in the long term.
From all the Headwaters staff, mentors, board of directors, teachers, and students, thank you.
Please join us in welcoming John Collinson.
Study science because you will find a richer, more rewarding life.
All right, y'all, come on, let's give it up for Headwaters now. Yeah. Okay, while we bring up this copious amount of raffle tickets, we have to thank some additional partners. A big thanks to our headlining partners, Arc'teryx, Black Diamond, Osprey, and particularly tonight, North Face. If I were to tell you guys how much work and effort it takes to get these world-class athletes to these shows, you might fall out of your chairs. But thanks to Peter and his team at the North Face for bringing 2 athletes this year. So give it up for Peter, please. Bub's Naturals. I can get behind a company whose tagline is live better longer. Please clap for them. Our longstanding friends at Tahoe Mountain Realty, Brett Smith at DeForest Architects, Emerald Bay Wealth Management, Mountain Gazette. Mike, are you here? Is Rogie here? Oh, he told me he was going to come. Thanks, Rogie. Print is not dead. And Prosser Building and Development, Peter Beaupre. Let's clap it up for all of these amazing partners, you guys. Okay, and if you'll remember, we have a ton of in-person giveaways, but we also have a bunch of online giveaways. You can double dip here and online. So with that, we have the amazing Riley White to come help us pull raffle tickets. Riley, wave to the crowd. Crowd, wave to Riley. Okay, so first up, our prize bundle number 1, $1,100 worth of goodies. Okay, you can't look at the ticket when you pull it, because someone already gave me grief about pulling their colored tickets. Okay, yellow ticket. Who's got a yellow ticket? Your odds are good. 952-885. 952-885, going once. Going twice. All right, come on now. You just won $1,200 worth of gear. Okay, next up. This is our first online prize giveaway. $1,300 worth of goodness. Katie Kosich. Riley, I thought we talked about this height requirement. Okay, so next up, our in-person prize bundle number 2. $1,225. Who's got a yellow ticket? All right, 875-358. 875-358. All right, he's up quick. Let's give it up for the winner, y'all. Come on now. Damn. Okay, next up is prize bundle number 3. Oh boy. Okay, just one, girl. Come on. All right, pink ticket. Who's got a pink ticket? Okay. Riley's brother has a pink ticket. 668-311. 668-311. Peter won? All right. This is Prosser Building and Development Peter right here. Come on, y'all. Give it up for Peter. Congrats.
Can we re-raffle?
Oh my gosh. Listen to this gentleman. Peter wants to re-raffle his winnings. Right? Yeah. We can do that.
Can we do something that
Yeah.
adds to it?
Not in the flesh, but we can re-raffle.
Okay. Let's do something like that.
Okay. Let's re-raffle. Come on, Riley. What a gentleman. Come on, get in there. Okay, who's got a blue ticket? All right, I've got 599-294. 599-294. All right, Creston Wilson, get up here and get your prize, girl. Come on. Oh, she bought so many tickets, she can't tell. Damn. All right, winner, there it is. Congrats. Does everyone know Creston? Her dad put up some OG roots in the valley with Royal Robbins and all the crushers. Okay, online prize bundle 2. Some amazing prizes from all these generous sponsors. Damn, you see who just won? Double winner. That has happened never. Well, yeah, go buy a lottery ticket because you won twice. Okay, prize bundle number 4, $1,600. Check it out, Voltage John Collinson sock bundle. All these amazing prizes, a day pass to Palisades. All right, Riley picked yellow. Please do not heckle the children. 953-776. 953-776. All right, Marina. Sweet. All right, let's give it up for Marina. Local legend. Okay, prize bundle number 5. We're getting into the good stuff. $1,600. BD skis, thank you, Black Diamond. North Face roller duffel. All kinds of goodness. Go ahead, Riley. Let's see what you got. All right, throw that back in. Pick another one. All right, pink ticket. 667-451. 667-451. Mother. Okay, we're going to pull one from there, one from there. Not yet, though. Okay, did you win? All right. Come on, y'all, give it up. That's a winner. We're still getting used to this fangle raffle ticket holder here. Okay, next up, online grand prize, $1,400 worth of goods. Congrats, Jenny Nall. Is Jenny here? Are you Jenny? All right, come on. We don't have anything to give you, but we'll give you a big round of applause. Come on, give it up for Jenny, y'all. All right, we'll try this one more time. Okay, prize bundle number 6, $1,900 worth of goods. What color ticket you guys want? What color? One more time. Okay, how about green? 302-064. 302-064. Is that Fred? Damn, Fred won again? All right. Let's give Fred a round of applause. Look at all those raffle tickets. Okay, so our grand prize, $2,200 worth of Black Diamond, North Face, Bubs, Smith, Gnarly, Mountain Gazette goodness. What color you guys want? All right, keep yelling your color. We got a photo op going on here. Okay. All right, Riley. Dig deep, girl. Okay, who's got a purple ticket? That's right. It's a pink ticket. Yeah. Okay, grand prize, 668-394. Is your brother gonna win? Okay, 668-394 going once. Oh my God, is that Elise Sogstead just won? Cody, you're sending Elise and the child to take prizes. Let's give it up for that. You cannot claim these prizes. All right. Here you go, bro. Good luck. Okay, winner. Congrats. Man, you look like your dad too, don't you? Did everyone see Elisa's show a few years ago? Amazing. Okay, awesome. And let's give it up for Riley, please. Good job. Okay, John Collinson. He's recognized as one of the most progressive and versatile big mountain skiers of his generation. At 17 years old, I'm not lying, he became the youngest person to climb the 7 summits, and he skied down 3 of them. In 2010, he won the Junior Free Skiing Tour overall title and went on to podium at the adult version of the Free Skiing World Tour. He's sponsored by globally recognized brands like Red Bull and the North Face, and has appeared in over 10 major ski films from TGR and Sweetgrass and more. John embodies true resilience, which you'll see in spades tonight. His story is not only one of extraordinary achievement, but of how to keep showing up when the path forward is uncertain. Let's give it up for John Collinson, y'all.
Good, thank you. All right, do I get to stand up here or over here? Right on. Well, really psyched to be here, and just want to thank Alpenglow for providing this space. I think the power of storytelling is quite real. I've been inspired by countless people, many of whom are in this room: Elise and Cody, Jim Morrison, Jim Zellers. So I really hope that my story can provide a little inspiration to some people out there. And just to beat the curve, I can't believe I'm a pro skier either. So let's get into it. I'm going to start a little metaphysical, because who am I? I'm a skier, I'm a climber, I'm a husband, a procrastinator. But more than anything, I'm a human. And this show tonight is a story about being human and kind of my journey as an evolution as a person. And so as humans, we all experience time, and time is linear. But life, which is how we experience time, is anything but linear. There's highs, there's lows, there's happiness, there's sadness, and there's everything in between. And I think we've all stood in high places at some point, or at least I hope so. And I think when you're up high, when you're up on top, it's pretty easy to see the opportunities around you. It's quite a lot harder to see the opportunity when you're in the lows, when you're in kind of the gullies of life. And I think the trick is finding the moments when life parallels itself, times when you can utilize the past to find a high to help navigate a current low, or maybe even to help a current high reach new heights. And I've lived a pretty fun life. A lot of cool things have happened, from climbing all the volcanoes when I was age 4, to climbing the 7 summits at age 17, to being a part of 15 full-length ski movies, which ultimately led to 7 knee injuries and 5 years of rehab. So my life has been this beautiful web of experiences, both of success and failure. And kind of my goal with this show is to maybe rethink what success and what failure look like. And so we're going to start, of course, why not, with a little life high. And so this is going to be 2017. It was maybe my best year on film as a professional skier, and it was an example of riding the high, or kind of utilizing past highs to climb even higher. So I'm going to start here with my segment from Rogue Elements from TGR.
Never stop, just playing it cool. The life I lived, I was such a fool. Finding the world, but losing my mind. It was all just a waste of time. The enemy is us. The enemy will bring you down. The enemy will make the sound that you never heard before. There's nothing you can do, not even if you wanted to. Are they really coming after you? Are we entering the storm?
All right, so I was on top of the world. You know, I had a roster of the best sponsors a skier could ask for, getting paid to travel the globe with my buddies. I mean, that's like the ideal setup, right? But I want to take a step back and take a look at how I got to this point. And what does it take to achieve athletic success? It takes a little bit of talent, skill, ability. It takes consistency, a little bit of hard work, practicing and perfecting that skill. And it takes being in the right time at the right place, or a little bit of luck to perform that skill. And so before my ski career ever began, I got the opportunity of a lifetime to climb the 7 summits, which is the highest peak on each continent. And I was 17 years old, so I was the youngest to do it at the time, and we completed all 7 in 367 days. So like almost got it in a year. And I think that timeline, completed in 1 year, is kind of the craziest part to me. You know, much more so than the physical capability or my age. It is just so special. And so this was in Antarctica. Me and Willie here had just come off of Vinson, the highest peak in Antarctica, and we were both ecstatic that somehow, magically, we'd gotten good enough weather on all 7 continents, on all 7 peaks to reach the summit. That's lucky. But amongst the luck was also the need to perform and take advantage of sometimes small opportunities, of small windows of opportunity. This is also the best toilet seat on the planet, as you can see. And so I think the best example of taking advantage of those opportunities happened here on Aconcagua. And so I was actually still 16, and this was the first of the 7 summits, and we were using this as kind of an altitude litmus test to see how I'd do at altitude before spending the buku bucks on the Everest bid. So we'd spent about 2 weeks climbing up and down the mountain, acclimatizing, carrying our gear up, sleeping low, and we were at the high camp, ready to go for our summit bid, and we woke up in the morning, and it was just like howling winds, the pressure had dropped, and there was just zero chance we were going to hit the summit. So we tucked tail, headed back down to base camp. Kind of like the dream was a little bit crushed before it started. But Willie and I checked out some weather models and learned that Friday, so the day after next, we came down on a Wednesday, the weather looked good on Friday. So we were like, all right, you're saying there's a chance. We should go for this. So we headed up the next morning. Willie and I repacked, got ourselves back to Camp 2, and I wrote in my journal that we did this push. Sorry, I'm going to get a little water here. I'm kind of nervous. There we go. So we did this push from base camp to Camp 2 in 2.5 hours. And I guess it takes people 8 or 9 hours usually. So I was kind of frothing. And then we hit the summit in the morning. And we did this push in 5 hours, 7 minutes, which again, looking at my journal, usually takes people 10 to 12. So we were like on top of the world, riding high. So we basically ran down to base camp. I was thinking we were gonna sit there, bask in the glory of the summit, and Willie was like, no, we need a steak dinner in Mendoza tonight. So we ended up running the 20 miles out to the road that afternoon. And so I was standing there. I think this was the most tired, most beat up I'd ever felt, but it was definitely the most proud. You know, it was like not only did we summit the peak, but we did it in this kind of crazy, cool, gnarly push. And it's really just a great example of a little bit of luck and then utilizing our skills or talent to take advantage of that window of opportunity. And so the 7 summits, I was just riding that high, and it was like a springboard into my ski career. And I carried a lot of lessons over, but I think the main one was consistency. And the consistency that it reminds me of is like golden retriever energy. I was just psyched, you know? I was there to show up, take advantage of whatever opportunities came my way, and just have fun doing it. Bad snow, yeah. But so with the consistency, there was also a lot of luck. And this was kind of my first big break in my ski career. I got the opportunity to go film with Sherpa Cinema for their movie, All I Can. It was in the spring of 2011. Ian McIntosh had just fallen in Alaska and broken his femur, and so the North Face team manager called me and was like, hey, do you want to go to Greenland? It's like, yeah. So it was definitely, you know, like being in the right place at the right time. And on the trip, I was joining Ingrid Backstrom, Dana Flair, and Callum Pettit. So I was coming in like, these are the big dogs, you know? I kind of had a fanboy hat on, but I just wanted to show up and do my thing. And so getting accepted into this crew and kind of the overall industry was a two-way street. I came onto the trip just like a ton of respect for everyone there, and based on my recent accomplishments, everyone kind of brought me in with open minds. And so being able to fit in on a trip like that, where we were camping, climbing, and skiing, just ended up opening a ton of doors for me. And so kind of filling that skier, climber guy role, I got the chance to go to places like Bolivia and rub shoulders with dudes like Chris Erickson and Hillary Nelson. Yeah, there we go. And I also got the chance to like hit big park jumps with dudes like Tom Wallish and Mike Riddle. And I really, you know, I was expecting that every time I stepped in front of the camera, I had to showcase the best skiing on the planet. But it really became more that once you're invited on these film trips, your skiing's probably proven itself, and it's more all the behind-the-scenes work that get you invited back. Showing up with that golden retriever energy, being psyched, and being ready to take advantage of whatever opportunities came my way. And so I spent years playing this game, and I was psyched. I was like traveling a ton, again, traveling the world, going to rad places with all my buddies, and I was really just kind of building my career, building my identity, and my credibility in the industry. But when I think back on these years, it kind of gives me the same feeling as when you can't quite remember a word, but it's like right on the tip of your tongue. Because it felt like I was so close to achieving what I wanted to, but I hadn't really nailed it yet. I was hungry. So after years of kind of nudging my way through the ranks and having, you know, this feeling that I was like almost there, especially in 2017, I knew that 2018 was going to be my year. I was going to come on, achieve everything I wanted to on skis. So I'm sharing this clip just to add a little pizzazz, because I can be boring, you know. But I feel like in our lives, and especially as an athlete, sometimes there's just these moments where it feels like maybe what people call the flow state. And I think that, for me, is maybe where your skill rises to the moment that you're at. And this was one of those moments for me. It was in January. It's usually the start of the film season. And I was like, all right, if I'm stepping up to this, this is going to be a good year.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go.
So yeah, the 3, it was a little sloppy, but it was crazy committing and probably the scariest hit of my life. So it was like this big down-the-pipe transfer, kind of crossing the spines. You had to carry a ton of speed and be fully committed and put the landing gear down. So I was thinking, all right, if it's January and I'm getting the chance to hit stuff like this is definitely my year. But the season rolled by, the opportunities to shine just weren't coming through, and I was just putting so much pressure on myself, like trying to force it to happen. And so, ended up tearing my ACL. It's that little doodad in the middle there. And like usual, it wasn't doing anything crazy. It was just kind of the outrun, caught my tail, blew my knee. But it was a huge bummer. I mean, blowing your knee is like a skier's worst nightmare. And it was this point that kind of in the lifetime continuum, things started to trend downhill, even if I didn't know it at the time. And so as we follow the timeline of life, every second we are all making choices. And each of those choices steers the future. And sometimes things happen that we don't directly choose. Sometimes things happen that we do choose. And I didn't exactly choose to blow my knee, but I was distinctly aware that I made the choices leading up to the accident, and I was the one that was in control of the choices I could make afterward, going through the recovery. And so I set up a little mindset for myself, and I kept it simple. It's focus on what you can do, and take it one day at a time, or one foot in front of the other. Because injury strips away a lot of things, especially as outdoors people. It strips away the activities we love, and even more so, it kind of strips away the community that we have doing those activities we love. So it was important for me to keep skiing as kind of that long-term goal, but choosing to have enjoyment in the little things, the little everyday successes of the injury. Here's a little montage. But so I had this entire team and facility at Red Bull that made it feel super easy. They had physios on deck, working with the strength trainers, nutritionists. It was like the whole works. I just had to show up, get taken care of, put in the work. And so I did that. I just showed up every day, gave it my all, and I took this recovery as seriously as I'd taken anything in my life. It was 2 sessions a day, hours in the gym, and I was just sponging up all the info. It was I wanted to know why we did every exercise, why each muscle works the way it does, why we're doing all the testing. Because I was getting the best form of healthcare you could possibly ask for. So outwardly, I was getting a ton of help. But inwardly, navigating this injury was kind of my first lesson in borrowing lessons from the past as I was on a little climb to help me navigate a little bit of a dip, a new life low of sorts. And so we're going to take a step back in time here, reach back for a past lesson. And so growing up, the son of a ski patrol, basically lived in the top shack, a snowbird ski resort. And me and Angel, my sister, probably knew every swear word and dirty joke on the planet. But the only things we weren't allowed to say were "I can't" and "I'll never." And that's cool because my parents wanted to instill this mentality in us to not set limits on ourselves. They're like, never set limits on yourself. Other people are going to do that for you. So that was kind of like a little bit of a motto that springboarded us into some of our crazy childhood adventures. And the other motto was one foot in front of the other. And so from when I was 4 years old until I was 14 years old, we spent every summer living out of this 79 Ford Econoline van. My parents would rent out our employee housing unit at Snowbird, and we'd just go out in the van, backpacking, climbing, hiking, just living it up in the woods. And my dad's goal was to turn new corners and see as few people doing it as possible. And so this is a list of all the major western peaks we climbed in those years. I know, it's like a lot of miles hiking through the woods, especially when your legs are like that big. But I remember, this summer I was 8 and Angel was 9. We spent the whole summer climbing 14ers in Colorado. And the first one of the summer was Mount Sneffels. So we were hiking in, going to set up a little base camp. And me and Angel are like following my dad through the woods. And I don't know why we'd never asked this before, but we were like, "Dad, how much further to camp?" He's like, my dad's a whiz. He's like navigation, pathfinder, like extraordinaire. So he knew right where we were at. But he's like, "Well, probably another half mile." So me and Angel we're like, "All right, that has to be a half mile." "Dad, how far is it?" Probably another half mile." Like, okay, we see what's going on. And so this half mile kind of became, the new inside joke for the fam. But what it did was important, because even as a kid, it instilled this mentality to just keep going. Another half mile, 1 foot in front of the other. And so after 9 months of rehab, we're back in 2018 here, putting 1 foot in front of the other, my recovery went pretty much as smooth as you could ask. And unexpectedly, I also fell in love with the gym. I'd spent my whole life playing outside, and the gym was like completely new territory. And I'd always heard that injuries can teach you lessons, but I feel like I got so much more than that. I discovered a whole new appreciation for the human body and kind of the controlled environment to test those limits. And then I'm going to plug my girlfriend at the time, Brooke. Feels a little bit random, but becomes important later, I swear. And this is because, like I said, injury can strip us of the activities we love and sometimes the communities we share doing it. And Brooke showed up for me every single day. But at the time, I was still fully 100% engulfed in living out my athlete dreams, being a little bit selfish. This was me time. And so, after feeling like I completely nailed the rehab, put in every single ounce of effort I could, I hopped right back in the mix of filming. I'd come off of 2 seasons so hungry to become the best big mountain skier I could be, and kind of fueling the fire to have that classic comeback story. And then, before anything really even started, I re-tore my ACL. We were camping out in BC, was filming with TGR. The nights were getting down to like -30. So it's kind of like not that fun to be in when you're injured. And I took this photo. It kind of makes me laugh now, but at the time, I honestly just wanted to remember how much sadness I felt. Because sadness is profound. And being human means experiencing the full spectrum of emotions. And living life as kind of this adrenaline junkie, chasing that dopamine high, it is so easy to push the sadness away. And so when the first injury kind of felt like a fluke, and I wasn't going to let it faze me, when I retore it, I had to step back. And it made me realize that I actually did have to really sit in that sadness and realize that I was so bummed to not be able to go out and do the things that I love most. But the juxtaposition of that is knowing how privileged I was. And the fact that I was even out there making money doing these things that I love wasn't lost on me. So, finished up the trip. I ended up just skiing for 10 days on the torn ACL, getting really subpar shots, and went in for surgery. But when I woke up from the surgery, my surgeon was like, all right, so I was in there. I had to actually do a bone graft. We couldn't fix the ACL. So now we're going to have to let that bone graft heal for 3 months. Then we can do the ACL surgery. I think I kind of looked like that, just realizing that the rehab just went from 9 months to a year. But what I really heard was that this time around, I needed to be more patient. I still had to show up. I still had to put one foot in front of the other, focus on the can, but I also had to allow my body to heal. Because it didn't really matter how strong I got or how well I tested, your ligament, I guess it just needs more time. And so now, I was back at the drawing board. The future felt a lot more uncertain. I was like, what was this going to mean for my sponsorships? If I don't have sponsors, how am I going to make money? And it kind of became this exercise in trust. Once again, reaching back in time to lean upon lessons from the past to kind of get me through this new low point in life. So here we are, 1996, Mount Rainier. And I think this is when my relationship with trust really began. It was the summit day on Rainier. I was 4 years old, 32 pounds, and tied onto a rope that I swear it was like a 30 mil rope. And my eyes were just glued to the circle of light my headlamp provided. So we were kind of marching along, and all of a sudden, there's just a crevasse in front of my headlamp. My light doesn't show the bottom. I'm like, I don't know about this. And luckily, my mom was there. She was kind of helping coach me. She's like, John, just shine your headlamp to the side. The tracks go around it. But I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, I'm 4 years old. I should probably be at home playing with blocks. And then all of a sudden the rope pulls tight in my harness. My dad yells back. He's like, what's going on back there? And I'm, just trying to figure it out. A few seconds later, up or down? And I just kind of, I don't think I actually remember this, but the story goes, kind of similar to Gladiator. Thumbs up. We're going up. But why? I'm like, why, as a 4-year-old, did I say to go up? And I think it must have been trust. I knew that saying no or down was going to be this long, sad walk back to the van, kind of disappointing my family, a little bit of disappointment in myself. But going up, there's more mystery in the up, pushing into the unknown. So when we think about trust, it's all these things. And somehow, in my 4-year-old brain, I must have been having thoughts somewhere along these lines. Probably not quite as complex. And I think climbing is a really easy way to draw similarities between trust and climbing. You have to learn how to trust your gear, trust your partners. Basically, climbing is trust. But what was harder was applying this idea of trust to this rehab scenario. So I kind of approached this recovery a little bit different. It was the same go-hard mindset, but shifting the focus from getting myself back on top to really sharing the process on social media and potentially helping other people get through hard stuff. And I was blown away by the support I received. It was like so many people were watching this recovery process and cheering me on that I just wanted to keep sharing. And so throughout the rehab, I felt like this trust and this new decision-making kind of came from a change in perspective. From a life centered around achieving personal greatness to kind of starting to try and help others achieve their greatness. But I had no idea where it would lead. I just knew if I gained the skills and gained the knowledge, that something cool was going to happen. And this line from filming in Zermatt is kind of a cool example of how important a change in perspective is. Because from the 30,000-foot view, you're looking at it and it's like, you just ski down the POW field, jump off the ice, stomp it, and ski away. It's pretty easy, right? But once your boots are on the ground, things look a lot different. And this is kind of how it felt going through the months of rehab. Pretty blind. And just needing to trust that I had the skills and the ability to end up where I needed to go. Oh, so close. Yeah, sick. But the spark of this trust for me was the fact that I was getting the top-of-the-line help across the board. And I wanted to share as much of that information as I could, because it wasn't lost on me that most of us don't have the access to the kind of support that I was getting. And so all of a sudden, I was getting a ton of requests from people, to send them programs or send them workouts online, which in turn led me to getting formally educated in the exercise science world, which kind of gave me a fresh outlet to grow and be creative, as well as it really opened a door into a whole new world that was completely my own, kind of shifting from a world totally centered on mountain exploration to one that was a little more focused on self-exploration. And it felt like things were just starting to click, that through this process of helping others while helping myself was kind of beginning the climb out of the low point that the injuries had created. It was like the rising tide lifts all ships kind of scenario. And I loved it. People were always asking me, how do you stay motivated? Why do you have a chip on your shoulder that makes you work out so hard? But it wasn't. It wasn't that motivation or having a chip on my shoulder. It was these three values that had carried me through so many mountain adventures, and they were carrying me through this rehab. So after 12 months of rehab, got back on snow. Got to go out to Europe, shred some POW, and then COVID happened. But honestly, it worked out the best for me, because I'm a yes man. I wasn't about to say no to a fun film trip or some cool thing my sponsors wanted me to do. And so kind of being forced to stay at home, forced to take that extra time to rehab, really worked out for me. I was way better off just having to chill on the couch. But through the COVID shutdown, I just kept sharing workouts online, was just trying to kind of keep the collective stoke high. And later that year, I put out my first online fitness program. You guys probably got spammed with ads for that. So trusting this process was working out. And I was at a high point in life. Even though it looked a little bit different than a room filled with powder awards or best skier ever trophies, I was living this really cool high life. And after waiting another entire year, I got the invite with TGR to go back to Alaska in the March of 2021. Elise was there. That was fun. But the conditions were pretty brutal. We were like scratching around to find good shots. And I was at a point where I wanted my shots to be better than I ever had before, because it felt like I had so much to prove. After coming back from injury, all these sick sponsors, I was like, I need to perform at the absolute top. So here's my segment from Stoke the Fire with TGR.
Did climbing Everest help you prepare for this?
Yeah, this is actually a drill we did at base camp. I was nervous, honestly. Just kind of had a bad run of injuries. Like, this is the first time being back in 3 years. It's been a long process getting back to this point. Getting the call to come back up was almost as special as the first call I ever got.
Okay, there's that frickin' thing. There's another.
Yeah, Johnny!
I used to crave a life full of meaning, truth from the lies when I'm bleeding, relegated now to a life in limbo. Can't live another day with the sorrow, surrender all the dreams of tomorrow, pushing up against an unstoppable force. I know.
That was sick, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy, nice one.
I'm sinking,
Nice. So it was funny. I remember the last heli ride coming out of the mountains. I was just like, wow, I should have done so much better. And I had to sit there and force myself to reframe my mindset and say, holy smokes, I was able to do that after 2 years off and 2 ACL surgeries. Like, I got to be proud of that. And so I really had to, thank you. I had to force myself to lock in and realize that I was at a high point, even if it didn't really look like what I wanted. And then, 4 days after I got home, came out here to Palisades to compete in the Red Bull Raid. Pretty chill contest, but I was feeling a lot of pressure. I'd turned down a wild card on the Freeride World Tour, said no to competing at Kings and Queens, because I just knew that competing at a high level was going to be pretty hard on the body, and I wanted to give it that time to rest. So I figured the Red Bull Raid, show up, pretty chill, but I was wearing that damn Red Bull helmet, and I was not about to get last place, which brought me here. Dang. The conditions were way better out there today, I'll tell you that. But since we're here, big shout out to Palisades' finest, my one and only cart off the hill. So thank you guys. So I ended up tearing my patellar tendon, ACL, PCL, MCL, meniscus. And when I would stand up, I could like feel my legs sagging at the knee joint. It was like there was nothing connected there. It was brutal. And it was so involved that my surgeon, who's on speed dial at this point, took one look at it and he's like, yeah, I'm not touching this, dude. So he ended up like kind of outsourcing me to this younger guy who was game to take on bigger projects like this. FYI, the next slide is like maybe a little graphic, I don't know. So that's the aftermath. It was like quite a bit more involved than just the ACLs had been. And on top of it, there was so much damage, he couldn't fix it all at once. So in this surgery, he fixed the patellar tendon, MCL, and meniscus. And then I was supposed to heal from that, build as much strength as possible over 6 months before he could go in and do the ACL, PCL surgery. And the other catch was that I had to stay completely immobilized for 10 weeks. It was like no PT, no baby leg lifts, no crutching around, like stay still as a rock, basically. And that eroded me. It was like it erased the trust in myself, and all of a sudden, this avalanche of momentum I'd been building up my entire life just came to a grinding halt. Being consistent was all of a sudden a chore, and I knew all the things I should be doing to take care of myself, but I couldn't do it. It was like pulling teeth. And the lessons from other injuries felt meaningless. It was like once I could start PT, we weren't really having many small wins. We were fighting for hours a day just to get like 1 degree of flexion. And it felt like I was in a gully so low, I had 0 past experiences to help get me through it. And all I could do was just wake up every day and go through the motions. And I have like so much respect for the team that helped me get through this. Because I remember I spent this like 2-week block out at Red Bull, and we were spending 6 to 8 hours a day literally just trying to get my knee to bend, and we couldn't. I was at the point where I was having dreams where I'd be like skiing or sitting cross-legged, and in the dream I'd wake up realizing that like now my leg doesn't do that. It was, not that fun. So ended up going in for a manipulation, which is basically they just put you out, crank on the knee to break up the scar tissue. And it was like worst case scenario, but by the time we got to that point, I was like begging for this procedure. So my surgeon sent me home.
It went so much better than I
get straight on the spin bike.
Got to 135 and getting around on the bike. That is the biggest game changer.
Big game changer. Because if you've had a knee surgery, you know once you can get the pedals around on a bike, it's like game over. Go from hours on the couch to hours on the bike. And this new movement was kind of as metaphorical as it was physical. I could now kind of move, and that meant I had things to work on. Improving the range of motion, strengthening through the range of motion, that gives you direction. And really jump-started me out of that low, low point I was in. But it was still like quite hard to stay motivated because I knew that I was just building this strength, showing up every day to have the delete kit put on when I had the ACL, PCL surgery. So I was using like every trick in the book. I was friggin' so pissed. I was so sad. And more than anything, I just really felt like a failure. And the failure was linked to my ski career. It was linked to my newfound passion for like health and helping people. Because why would anyone come to me for help when I just break myself off year after year? But they were kind of confusing feelings because deep down, I knew I wasn't a failure. I was just stuck and needed a release, like a reinvention. And now I was at the point where I did have some lessons from my past that I could pull from. So we're going to go back to 2008. I was 16. I just quit ski racing, joined the free ride program at Snowbird, and it was a monumental feeling. It was like I was so stubborn and resistant to the coaching to racing, and so finding what I truly loved, like going and shredding POW, trying new tricks, it was like so freeing. But in the summer, I didn't have much to do. The free ride was great in the winter, but then I fell in love with skateboarding in the summer. It kind of offered me the same feelings that free skiing did. The freedom of expression, cool guy attitude. But the issue was skateboarding didn't let me back. I was so bad at it. And this wannabe bad boy attitude had no place in the Collinson family. So after watching me spend a summer making no progress on a skateboard, my parents sat me down for an intervention. Yeah. You know, they could see how frustrated I was. They could see I wasn't finding happiness where I was looking. And so in this intervention, they cut off all my hair, threw away all my clothes, and sat me down to set some goals. And I think that intervention was maybe the most important moment in my life. Because I could have shut down, I could have shut my parents out, could have said, F you for throwing away and cutting off this like newfound taste of freedom I had. And resenting them would have been incredibly easy. But instead, for whatever reason, I chose respect. And respect was a bit of an old lesson for our family, kind of stemming from the mountains, you know, respecting nature, respecting animals, respecting the people around us. So it was an old lesson. And by giving my parents that respect to almost completely upend my life, part of the deal was setting goals. And when my parents had us set goals, they both supported and enforced whatever it would take for us to reach those goals, which looking back on is like the most beautiful gift I've ever been given. And so the goals I set initially were to win the Junior Free Skiing World Tour and graduate high school with the 4.0. Pretty good goals, right? But my parents understood that to kind of complete this transformation was going to take outside help and a new mentor to help push me. So that summer when I was 16, I started climbing and training with Willie Benegas. He's a legendary North Face alpinist, and he was the guy who kind of spurred on the Seven Summits project. Another goal on the list. And going out with Willie really allowed me to look at myself in a new light. You know, kind of from frustration and insecurity to feelings of confidence and really just having a sense of purpose. And because of this intervention in goal setting, had a pretty banger year, you know? Got top of Everest, we won the Free Skiing World Tour, and graduated with almost a 4.0 in school. But I think, hey, thank you. But beyond any sort of athletic skill or world record, the most important thing that happened that year was proving to myself that anything is possible if you're willing to embrace the change that's necessary to make it happen. And so similarly in this new injury, kind of sitting really deep in feelings of failure and frustration, I needed a reinvention. And I wasn't about to get out of that pit alone. And it was these two that got me through. Baby Ranger. And Brooke, of course. But getting Ranger was like crazy good moment in life, and it did so many things. But most importantly, it got me outside again. Because previously, in my teen 20s, I hated hiking. I mean, hiking or hating hiking is a strong way to put it, but I was a pro athlete. I'm not going to go hike. We have to go out and be extreme. We have to be gnarly at everything we do. But now, sitting there with a broken body, I couldn't be extreme. But what I could do was go on adventures with a new little buddy. And this kind of forced me to look deep inside myself and ask why. It's like, why do I have to be extreme? Why do I have to go out and push it like this? Is it the adrenaline? Is it the accomplishment? The drive to be the best? And I couldn't answer those questions. But one thing was for sure. I was getting outside, hiking every day, getting that consistency back, and more than anything, it was just pretty incredible to go find peace just by walking around in nature. And so kind of finding that rhythm of joy really reinvigorated my sense of purpose. And I regained trust for myself, respect for myself, because I knew I couldn't just sit there and be a failure. I knew I was the only one that could show up every day, put in the work to rebuild myself into who I wanted to be. So I just kept showing up day after day. And it was worth it.
Oh man, just got my first POW in 2 years. Oh, there's nothing like that. That's why you do your PT, do your squats, so you can go ski POW like that. So psyched. This is just so happy to be back doing this. What is all about?
So it was over 600 days from when I got hurt to when I could ski again. And it was well worth the wait. Because that season just happened to be the historic 900-inch winter in Utah, which it felt really good to ski POW on the body, but it also gave me the option to stay home for the whole season, which I'd never done before. And so, with that much snow, it gave me the chance to film my own project with Colby Elliott, who's an awesome dude, and I was really just kind of learning how to reinvent my skiing. That year, I really had to keep my feet on the ground and my head on my shoulders. And so apart from filming my first project, filming a segment with Matchstick Productions, I was just getting out every single day and relishing in the success of my rehab. To go from questioning if I'd really even be able to ski again to getting out every single day was honestly like winning the lottery. But then later that year, parted ways with Red Bull. And after working so hard mentally and physically for so long, I just really wanted to be proud of myself and have my sails full of wind. But losing a big partnership with this huge brand like that makes you feel like such a failure. And I understand that injured athletes are bad business, but being the athlete is kind of a tough pill to swallow. So I was there, thinking I just crushed it, filmed my own movie, filmed a segment, was putting out all the online stuff, and that should feel like a success even without the fact that I was returning from a pretty major injury. And so why in the world should I be feeling so bitter and like such a failure? And so through all this reflection and soul searching, I was forced to look at myself not as an athlete anymore for the first time, but who am I as a man? Who am I doing this for? And what ultimately am I trying to achieve? And how can I draw the line between personal success and professional success? And this was kind of a huge shift. You know, it was like my ski life and my self-worth previously were completely intertwined, chasing a selfish goal, which I don't think is inherently bad, but for me, the target had shifted from what I can do for me to who I can be for us. And Brooke was there every single step of my injuries, like day after day, month after month, year after year, never once telling me to quit, never once telling me to change what I'm doing. And that level of support is so hard to come by. I had to lock her up, you know? And so with the goals, they kind of shifted from athletic success to relationship success. And that was also like finding my peace again. You know, I was building a life that looked a little bit different, but it was a life that brings happiness every single day, regardless of how many joints are working. And this mindset trickled into my skiing. I kind of got to own it again. My identity changed from Johnny to John, and the pressures changed, and I really started being able to separate the work from the sport, which led to like the best trip of my life. Camping, climbing, and skiing in Alaska. I was with Griffin Post and Taylor Godber, and the trip started like any good adventure should, stuffing the plane into the glacier. I remember both Griff and I were like super air sick, flying around trying to find a zone. Finally, we're like, yeah, put us down there. That looks great, man. And he just stuffs the plane. There's like snow up to the windows. And Griff just looks back at me. He's like, did we just crash the plane? And we get out, you know, like, dude, what do we do? And the pilot's like, have you ever dug out a snowmobile? We're like, yeah. He's like, yeah, it's the same thing. You just dig it out and push. So, yeah, digging planes out, digging snowmobiles out, it's the same thing, I guess. But it was really cool because it felt like this trip was like paralleling life at this point. Because every line up there is like a puzzle waiting to be unlocked. You got to navigate the glaciers, you know, one foot after the other. You have to find and execute safe climbing routes to the top, respecting the terrain, and then transitioning to a mixture of joy and trust to ski your way out and high five at the bottom. And that was all paired with the luck of like perfect blower conditions and bluebird for 8 straight days. Kind of unheard of for Alaska. Which led to another moment that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. Another one of those moments where it really felt like everything stacked up and I was supposed to be right there. So, thank you. You know, so like the level of skiing and sending had changed a little bit from years past, but it was honestly such a monumental feeling to stand up there again. Felt like I'd been through hell and back with no real idea of what was possible. But up there, getting to stand in places like that gave me the same feeling as when I was 17, that anything is possible. But wait, there's more. This past year, in the spring of 2025, tore my ACL again. What the hell? And, after really feeling like I'd recreated myself from the ground up, my relationship with myself, with my skiing, with my wife, with my family, it was so hard to understand what else I was supposed to learn. Because no matter how many times you walk the path of injury, and no matter how many people are in your corner supporting you, it can be pretty lonely. And it can be so easy to fall into the victim mindset that no one else can understand our circumstances. And so this summer really circled me back to the question why. Like, why go out and push? Is it for the fame? Is it for the money? And every day that I found myself asking that question, I also was finding my own simple answer. Because you do it because it's fun. I do it because it makes me happy. And it's been important for me to remember that each fall that's resulted in injury is an accident. You can't turn back the clock, but what I can do is appreciate my body for healing, show up for myself every day with the same trust, respect, and consistency that's carried me before. And know that this 33-year-old body still has the chance to ski fast and stand in high places. And, through each injury, my passion for the sport hasn't diminished. The passion has kind of burned truer through each one. And it's proven time and time again that we don't ski for the money, we don't ski for the awards, we ski because that is fun. And so this summer, I was sifting through a lot of thoughts of my identity and my purpose, a lot of what the hell. And what's kept me grounded is knowing that through these highs and lows of life, those highs and lows have helped me build a life that I love, full of people that I love, doing the sports that I love, and like a real love for myself, which in turn opened a door that I don't think the selfish athlete me ever would have seen, which is the opportunity to be a father and the chance to walk life alongside a little baby girl, to teach and to learn, which is a whole new chapter waiting to be explored. And if I can leave you with anything, it's that every day we wake up, we have the chance to write the future. We have the choice to find our joy for ourselves, for our families, for our communities, and that true success isn't measured by athletic feats or a fat bank account. True success is measured in here, what's in us. So thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks, John Collinson. Give it up for John Collinson one more time, y'all. We'll see you back here on March 6th with the man, the myth, the legend, Dave Nettle.